Well, welcome everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for this very special virtual event that we're calling Closing the Gap, From Surviving to Thriving. So I'm Scott Brady. I'm the Director of Development here at International Literacy and Development. And just want to give you a quick background. Because of COVID, we were not able to hold our in-person event here in the DFW area. So this year, because that was going to leave us with a $150,000 gap in funding, we decided to take this virtual, to take it to everybody from across the country who could participate. And it's been awesome because so many of you are joining with us today. So we are here to close that $150,000 funding gap and to hear the story. So it's awesome and important and exciting that you're here with us. So I'm really excited to introduce to you our host for tonight. Her name is Michelle Schubert, and she was a contestant on season 33 of the reality show Survivor. Now, Michelle got to be in Fiji for that show, and that sounds really glamorous. Michelle, was that your experience?
Glamorous is probably not the word that I would use to describe my time in Fiji or on Survivor. For those of you who don't know about Survivor or haven't seen it, they take about 20 strangers and put them out on an island to weather the elements and survive on very little. And it's a game, you're trying to survive the whole time and essentially then stay in the game and win $1 million. During that time, you're pretty much sleeping in the sand, sleeping in the rain. In fact, we had a cyclone blow over us during our season. You don't have any amenities. There's no toilet paper, no toothbrush, no soap, anything like that. And also you're trying to survive on very little food. I think we had about a handful of rice a day. I got super excited when the tide was low because then the rocks would be exposed and I could run out and eat snails off the rocks. So it's not that glamorous. However, I was doing it by choice. It was kind of a fun experience. And if at any time it was that bad, I could have tapped out. I could have quit. And best case scenario, if I stayed in the whole game, the whole game is only 39 days. So there was always a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah. That's important because having that ability to tap out, knowing it's going to be over, you're choosing to be there is a big part of it, but it's not like that for everyone in the world, is it?
Yeah, no, unfortunately not. Unfortunately, there's people that are living in rough circumstances and, without proper shelter, without proper food all over the world. In the approximately 2 years I've worked with ILAD, I've been to some of our locations and talked to a lot of people who don't necessarily know where their next meal is going to come from, or definitely don't expect to be able to feed their families year round. I talked to some people who didn't think they'd be able to afford medical care for their sick children, or even not even sure if they can afford the travel to get to the clinic or to get to the hospital. And, for these people, they can't just tap out. They can't just wait 39 days. Yeah. It's not a game to them. This is survival.
Wow. It's not a game to them. It's survival. It just reminds me and makes me think that we do have a lot to be thankful for, don't we?
We do. Even in a year like 2020, 2020 has been a very difficult year for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. But even so, I look around and know that there is a lot to be thankful for. In fact, actually, this is the week of Thanksgiving, mm-hmm. And so if you're watching on Facebook, there's a way to comment below the video. I would like to invite you to just comment something that you're thankful for. And as you do that, we're going to watch a short video of ILAD's story.
Across the globe, there are still literally hundreds of millions of people whose lives, whose communities even are unconnected to the cultures and the nations in which they reside.
International Literacy and Development, which we call ILAD for short, is a nonprofit organization that works among minority people groups. We're trying to empower locals through literacy and through holistic development.
ILAD's work is to go to these international locations and help through both education and through business to become connected to that bigger part of what is happening in our world. ILAD, local solutions to local problems. Again, not international solutions to local problems, local solutions to local problems. We had a young man coming out of University of Lomé that had a vision for changing his country from within.
Our team had started talking with him about joining us in agricultural development among the villages where we were working. And so he came and joined our team.
Agriculture is part of the main activity of my people, and more than 60% of the active population is involved in agriculture.
In 2008, we purchased land, and he was able to actually start doing pineapple farming on a demonstration farm.
And his goal was to teach his folk, his community, his people, how to break the cycle of poverty.
The farmers in my country, they are marginalized and nobody believes in them and nobody trusts them. We don't think that they are bad people. We don't want to give them opportunity and to start their farm. We saw the need and we just give them the solution.
Not many places in the world where you are trying to get at both the business side of these communities and the education side of these communities at the same time.
As ILAD moves forward, one of the things we want to see is this model in Togo replicated in many communities all over Africa and even in other places in the world.
Our goal is to see change, drastic change in the communities.
I'm convinced that if we can connect both that literacy and the business side, that we are going to help communities in a way that can't otherwise be helped.
That's our vision, is to be able to go to the marginalized peoples of the world till one day there are no more groups that are marginalized in this world. There's no more poverty. We want to see communities being empowered to use the local assets that they have to create communities that are better.
So ILAD's future is one of growth. There are hundreds of millions of people across the globe that need this same kind of community change.
We will be finished when everyone in this world has a voice and that they feel valued and they have dignity.
So we really want to work hard, so everywhere in Togo, in Africa, in the world, wherever we are, to give opportunity to the next generation to dream the best for themselves, the best for people around them.
All right, welcome back, or thank you for joining us if you're just jumping on. My name is Michelle Schubert. I'm the Global Resource Coordinator here at International Literacy and Development, and I get to have with us our Executive Director, Brenda Holland, with me now. You would have just seen her in the video. She lived there in Togo for years doing literacy and educational development and also other kinds of community building strategies. So Togo really has a special place in her heart. Brenda, seeing this video, knowing all of the development that has gone on and is going on there in Togo, what's your reaction?
Well, first of all, seeing the video, it just always gives me so much joy to see the faces of my friends in Togo. And then also just, it's such a pleasure to serve alongside the amazing nationals that are there. You saw Latte in the video and others. It's just, it's really those nationals who are doing the work. So it's really a pleasure to work with them. But thinking back on what it was like when we first moved there, and then thinking about what progress has been made in the areas where we have our programs, it really is a dramatic difference. I worked in a rural area of Togo where, you had a 20 by 20 meter plot of land. That was what most people would farm on, and it would just produce just enough for people to subsist. And it really was, in many cases, still is, just surviving. When you're living on that edge all the time, there's no money for medical help, there's no money for educational needs. Any crisis that comes along can really wipe you out. And a lot of times, as being farmers, if the rains were late, you would end up having hunger in the house. I particularly remember a time when a father had told my husband and I that his corn ran out in March and April, and the fresh corn wouldn't come until June. And so the children were hungry, and at night he would give them moonshine to help them sleep. It just killed me to think to being in that kind of position, having to give alcohol to your children so they wouldn't think about their bellies hurting. That's what it was in the past. And for many, it still is. But where we're doing the agricultural training, the purchasing of the farmers' pineapples for the juice factory, we're offering savings and loans. We're seeing the farming changing with no longer subsistence farming, but we're seeing thriving families. And we're seeing that the farmers are able to invest in their own land rather than renting. They're learning how to cultivate a cash crop alongside the crops that they can eat. And the methods that we're using are helping them to increase the yields that they have. And also, we've just recently, in the past couple of years, added in tilapia. So we're teaching diversification of their income. And this is getting to see children go to secondary school and even university, which is really like unheard of out in that rural area. And we're seeing the whole community being lifted up. It's really excited.
That is really exciting. So then what is your hope for the future still here in Togo and maybe further?
Well, there's still a lot to be done. In the area in Togo where we're working, we have about 1,300 farmers that are involved in the project, which is really just a small region. It's about 2 counties. And we'd like to expand that to other places in Togo, but also we have teammates all over the world who work in communities like this, and we would love to use this model that we are doing in Togo, see it replicated in communities all around the world. We want to empower local communities to solve their own problems with the local God-given assets that they've been given. Really, they just need a hand up, and we are looking forward to seeing communities all over the world create local solutions to local problems.
That's awesome. Thank you, Brenda. Thanks for telling us those things.
Thanks for letting me be here. It's great.
Yeah. Local solutions to local problems. As Brenda said, this is the strategy that ILAD uses to bring people from surviving to thriving. This is moving people from barely getting by into flourishing by using those assets, those resources that they already have. And I hope that you're here tonight because that's a vision and a solution that you want to be a part of. We're all coming together here not just to hear inspiring stories, but to join hands and to close that gap by giving. So to donate, if you're watching on our webpage, there should be a form beneath you. You can scroll down if you can't see it. And there's a form that you can easily give by credit or debit card. That's the easiest way to give. If you're watching on Facebook, there's a donate link beneath the video. You can click that, and that'll also take you to a form online. Otherwise, you can also call the number on the screen. That's 682-233-3999. 3225, and you can give that way, though we do have very few people able to be on the phone lines right now, so the best way to give is via card online. Also, though, some of you I know would like to probably give by check, and we want to encourage that as well. But we want to ask you, if you're going to do that, would you please text in? You could call in and let us know too, but text in and let us know what you intend to give. That way we can add it to our total throughout the night and keep a running total. Now, while you're doing that, I'd like to introduce this next video by giving you a little bit of background. While I was staying at ILAD's dormitory at one of our demonstration farms in West Africa, I met a man who was also staying at the dormitory, and he had come all the way from Sierra Leone. He had traveled all that way because he had heard that ILAD might be able to help him find a local solution to his local problem, which was a very unique and difficult one. His name was Pastor Edward. Pastor Edward was the pastor of a church made up of 500 partially paralyzed polio victims. And as you can imagine, being partially paralyzed doesn't allow you to have normal job, perhaps, or doesn't allow you to have normal income. So while at the demonstration farm, he and ILAD worked together to form a plan that would be able to provide work for anyone with just one working hand. Check this out.
My name is Edward Kabu. I'm a pastor of a church with polios, disabled people who cannot work, people who are vulnerable, who are poor, who are dirty, they can't even make money. They are beggars. But I told them that no matter the way they are, disability is not inability. They can do something that can help promote the nation, and others will see and take them as a good example. I'm here in Togo to help our people. So we are here to learn to process palm nut. With this palm nut, it will help them to have work to do, and they will not be idle. Sometimes if you don't have what to do that will bring income to you, you want to work, but there's nobody to push you or to show you what to do that will help you. So with this work that I'm learning here in Togo, when I go back to Sierra Leone, I will go back and teach my people how to bring life in a more dignified way. So because the disabled were people that many were marginalizing, thinking that nothing good will come out from them. And the best way to help them is to learn, to help them to take care of themselves. Most of their children are now grown, they are going to school, and they do have money. So this will help a lot.
What an amazing story, Michelle. It's so cool that you got to meet him. And again, we want to say to all of you how glad we are that you've joined us for this short time together. Again, I'm Scott Brady, the Director of Development at International Literacy and Development. I'm with Michelle Schubert. She's our host and 2016 Season 33 Survivor contestant. And Michelle, I'm really excited to tell you that people are already responding by giving online.
Woo!
Calling, texting to tell us that they're going to be mailing in a gift to Close the Gap. So we're excited about that. Yeah.
Well,
So thank you.
We have this image. I was just going to ask, do we have an image to show?
Yes, we do. Yes, so we have some great gifts coming in. Some of those folks that have been giving. I'm thinking about some from the DFW area. Some have been able to give some larger gifts, like $5,000, couple $1,000. We're also receiving $50 gifts and $100 gifts, and all of them come together. Want to call out a big thank you to Brett, who has given $1,800.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Brett.
Yeah, that's so great. And all of this together, of course, we want to emphasize every single gift matters. Every single gift makes a big, big difference. And so for our total, that puts us around $32,000, counting gifts that people, even when you were somewhere registering, they were giving gifts and have come in just recently. So we're closing that gap and have a great start.
Wonderful.
Yep. So there's a couple of special things that we're doing. Want to make sure that you know about it, Michelle, and that our folks do. So on Survivor, you would have contests there, right?
Yeah, there were challenges every couple days.
Yeah. And I watched a few clips, and apparently you were the queen of the puzzle contest.
Yeah. Anytime on Survivor that there was like a challenge with a puzzle at the end of it, my team always won. So
Always won. That's pretty good.
I like to be a little bit competitive.
Yeah, I could see that in what I watched, a little bit competitive. So we have a sort of competition going on here, and here's how it works. Our board members have given funding for us to offer 6 $1,000 grants to various projects that ILAD has around the world. And so if you pre-registered and you're here watching, a little bit later, we're going to have a drawing for those 6 grants, and you'll be able to let us know that you're here. It's very important that you be virtually present here and let us know that you're here at that time.
Another good way to let us know that you're here is by donating.
That's a great way.
Again, to donate, if you're watching on our website, you can scroll down and easily give via credit or debit on the form there. If you're watching on Facebook, you can click the link, and that'll take you to a donation page. If you'd rather call, you can give us a call to give. Or if you plan to give by check, you can call or text in and let us know what you plan to give. That way, again, we can add it to our total throughout the night.
Yeah.
And I do want to say that this goal that we have can only be reached with everyone coming together. You know, every single donation counts. In case you missed the slideshow at the very beginning, we had a slideshow room that just kind of showed you neat facts about what your donation can do. A simple $160 donation is enough to provide a child with an entire middle school education, one that's both safe and proximal. With $30, you can provide the necessary school supplies for a child to attend school in the first place. $375 was enough to put on an entire medical mobile clinic to people who otherwise wouldn't have any access to healthcare. So as you can tell, these are all things that are life-changing to the person who receives it. Yeah. So you can change someone's donation, change someone's life with your donation tonight. So
yeah, any size gift helps change someone's life for sure. Yeah. And so we have one more thing going on too, Michelle, and I'm really excited about this because one of our donors has offered a match, and this match is especially for you who have never given to International Literacy and Development's General Fund. Maybe you support one of our teammates, or maybe you're being introduced to how you can make a difference through ILAD here tonight. No matter what the reason, if you are going to be making a first-time gift to the General Fund, this donor is going to match your gift 2 for 1. So that means if you give a $5 gift, it turns into 15. If you give a $50 gift, it turns into 150. Michelle, I'm going to test your math. If you give a $500 gift, it turns into
1,500.
Excellent. Yeah, whatever size that might be. I like to think of it as this way, though. If you change one middle school child's life, you now change 3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you just start to think of it in human terms like that. And so they have offered this up to $10,000, and we would love to receive that full match. If we don't get the gifts in, of course, we don't get it all. So make sure that if you're a first-time donor especially, that you participate tonight. Every single one of you is important.
Absolutely. And I want to reiterate that again, just that truly every donation matters. Please don't sit back and expect others to give, or don't feel like your gift would be insignificant, because even as we've just heard, not only does your gift matter, it matters 3 times as much.
Yeah.
And so far tonight, we've shown you a couple videos from Africa, but actually we work internationally all over the globe. In fact, we have 17 projects in about 10 different countries. We focus on communities that are marginalized or overlooked. Many of these communities are geographically remote or otherwise disconnected to the greater conversation, the greater economy. And so this next program that we're going to highlight for you is located in the strange, exotic land of Dallas, Texas.
So my name is Charles Aldrich Halder, and originally I'm from Bangladesh, and I've been in USA. It's been almost 7 years, and I work for ILAD International Literacy and Development, and the project title is Rohingya Language and Literacy Program. Since they are from different culture, different country, as well as most persecuted group in the world right now, this ethnic group are Rohingya. When they come to this country, we need to pre-assume that they already have trauma because of past persecution and lots of struggling in their life. So we pre-assume that lots of people from Rohingya people, they have trauma. That when they came to this country, we should not leave them that way. We need to support them. So we first try to help them to recover this trauma, their past trauma. So our main goal and objective when they came to USA, integrated development, just not only one track, but also financially, then culturally, socially, that is integrated development, so that we can see sustainable development among this group. When they come this country, they are like a newborn baby because they don't know how to speak English. So English, even though language is not knowledge, but language is essential and crucial media to express your knowledge, to apply your knowledge, to utilize your knowledge. But since they came this country, they don't have any previous experience regarding English speaking or expertise. So that is big obstacle for them. So without English, they cannot get job. Without English, they cannot apply for government benefit or public benefit. So our main priority for this, our ongoing project, our main priority on language. During this unprecedented situation, lots of people among this community and other community, they lose their job. So people started to apply for employment benefit. So they didn't know how to do that. We helped first 2-3 months. We made video for how to apply for employment benefit, how to apply for SNAP, how to apply for Medicaid. So we noticed that by watching our video, some people empowered, and they started to help their community or neighbors to applying for unemployment benefit. That's a great example. So we don't need to be there all the time. If we make them, we can make local leader, and if we can empower them to this project. That is great example. And also, we are starting to see some short-term impact. Our vision, we want to see from now, after 5 years, they are completely empowered. The service we are providing, they can provide the same service for their community after 5 years.
Welcome back, or thank you for joining us if you've just jumped on. My name is Michelle Schubert. I'm the Global Resource Coordinator here at International Literacy and Development, and I get to be with Miranda. This is Miranda, who leads the Rohingya refugee program that you just heard about with Charles.
Hey, Michelle.
Miranda, hi. Before we jump into your work, I have to share some exciting news. We have received a $100,000 donation.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, $100,000 donation to Close the Gap from Surviving to Thriving. Is there any way we can, can we show the image of like our funding total right now? Is that possible? I'm not sure if we have an update. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, we are at 95% of our goal of $150,000. We are so close. That is wonderful. Look how doable this is, everyone. Thank you for all of you who have given so sacrificially. That is really encouraging. I am just super encouraged to see this. Okay, so Miranda, back to you. You lead the Rohingya refugee program. Can you tell us a little bit more about your work?
Sure. So the Rohingya Language and Literacy Program serves the Rohingya refugee community in DFW, Dallas-Fort Worth. This community is from Burma, Myanmar. And they are considered the most persecuted people in the world right now. They come to America with no formal education, and they need a lot of assistance to be successful in their new American lives. So we partner with them to provide English classes in the homes, video resources like Charles was saying about food stamps and other things like that, human language technology, and that means that we do things like we record and analyze language information and data like word lists and things to build apps like Google Translate. And we hope to expand into other similar communities. Now, I work directly with several women in our program, and because they're stateless, meaning that they have no citizenship anywhere, they want to become U.S. citizens more than anything. They tell me all the time, and have heard so many Rohingya people say, I want to be able to travel and go back to my country and help my people and help my family. So our English classes here teach citizenship vocabulary as well as literacy to help them move closer to that goal and help them find a place to call home. I met recently with a Rohingya leader who said to me, and I'll never forget this, he said, we are living for hope. Rohingya people are strong, they're entrepreneurial, and they have so much to give back, and they want to give back. But language is the gap that they're experiencing between being able to give back and where they are now. So we're here to build a bridge from surviving to thriving through language and literacy.
Wow. I love that, building that bridge from surviving to thriving. And so it sounds like you're saying they already have the tools. You know, they need the missing part of their bridge to be built.
Yep.
And it also sounds like you're saying that even though that's a very big job, that it's one that you're happy to do.
Absolutely. I've grown so much from getting to know them.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Miranda. Thanks for coming on. All right. So now you, likewise, who are watching, maybe $25, $50, $100, or $200 might not seem like a big deal to you, but for someone else, it might just mean closing that gap, building that bridge from surviving to thriving. Your gift would be what builds that bridge. And remember, if you haven't given to the ILAD General Fund before, your gift tonight will be tripled because of our special 2-to-1 matching grant tonight. So that means, again, if you give a gift of $20 tonight, that gift will actually be $60 of bridge building. So thank you. Scott, who you've seen on here with me earlier, he recently was able to sit down with one of our donors named Chris, and he and Chris had a discussion about what it meant to Chris to be able to impact people's lives through giving to ILAD. In fact, Chris was able to actually travel to one of our locations and check out the work firsthand. Here's his story.
Togo was probably one of my few first trips outside of the U.S. into a third world type country. I've been out of the nation for vacation, but Brenda asked me to go in 2012, and they knew my love for helping others, and they just, I guess, I don't know why, but they invited me to go, and I just went, and I was like, hey, yeah, it'd be cool to go see Africa. But it opened my eyes to how great we have it here in the States. One, because just the pollution and the lack of roads and just infrastructure that we have and take for granted every day. And I was just blown away by it. In fact, I was pretty disheartened by a lot of things that I saw, and especially with the way the government treated the locals there and whatnot. So as a whole, just going to Togo and seeing that lack of infrastructure, just the poverty levels, certainly I've always been told that once you've been there, it'll change you forever, and it certainly has. Because once you see it, you can't not want to do something. So once I actually stepped foot there and saw it, make connections and whatnot, I didn't have any other, there just wasn't any other way. It was help. It seemed like it is the best approach by getting locals, starting them in business, giving them the way to be self-sustaining. And everything that we look for now, anything that we do, if it is not with the end goal of teaching locals to be self-sustaining, I'm not that interested in it, because all we were doing is propagating more poverty. And ILAD has done a great job, as far as I can tell, of making sure that we are empowering them to be prosperous and to not only be prosperous, but be generous with their prosperity. And so we're very excited to be able to continue working with ILAD. And even if you can't go or haven't been, I can tell you that from personal experience that they are using it wisely and doing well with it, and it is changing lives. And absolutely, God is always, good to his promises that, he, a cheerful giver, that he will provide. You can never outgive God. Anything that ILAD is doing, I do feel confident that it is inspiring hope in the people who are getting to benefit from it. The hard part is you can only benefit us, so many people with limited funding, and so that's why at the end of the day, supporting ILAD, in my opinion, is a great opportunity that anybody would be blessed to give to.
I appreciate that so much. Chris is right. It is more blessed to give than receive. Again, I'm Scott Brady, Director of Development with International Literacy and Development, with Michelle Schubert, my coworker, and also Season 33 Survivor contestant. So, Michelle, it's exciting night for us, and we are definitely seeing that gap get closed, moving people from surviving to thriving. So we have a giving update for you. Just hope you've seen some of the gifts that are coming through, and big thank you to John and Ruth who gave $500. So much appreciation to John and Sherry, giving $300. We have $150 gifts coming in, phone gifts like $500 gifts. And so we have a giving update for you.
We have a giving update. What do we have?
Yeah, we are blowing out the top.
Oh my goodness.
We have just reached $150,630. Woo!
Wow. That is amazing.
That is so amazing. Thank you to everyone who's given so far. Your gifts will be making a huge, huge difference.
These gifts do make a huge difference. In fact, I really, really, really wish that all of you who are giving could see firsthand the difference that your donations make. Instead of just having this idea that your gift is helping someone somewhere, I wish you could see the individual, look into their eyes. I had this pleasure of doing just this just before COVID. I was working in South America with a coworker, Lawrence, who is our program director for Global Business Development Centers. And what we were doing there is the final stage of helping refugees who had to flee a crisis in their home country, helping them start businesses in their new country. And this was about a 9-month mentorship leading up to this moment that I was there. And this was the night before all the businesses were about to launch. And one of the refugees stood up to say thank you to the team that was down there. And his story was amazing. He told us how this wasn't the first time he was a refugee. He said that when he was younger, he had to flee his first home country when he was a child and had to relocate and be displaced to a new location. And he said that his whole life, he struggled to try to fit in that location and to try to progress in that new location. And just as things maybe were starting to work, that country collapsed as well. And now he had to once again flee for safety. And he said, my whole life, I've been swimming against the current. But now, for the first time, I feel like the current has switched in my direction. And I was moved by that, because you could see the hope in his eyes. You could feel the hope in the room that, now each of these people had in their tool belt all the tools they needed to be successful, to thrive.
Wow. That is so cool, whether it's businesses or ag business or literacy, or even giving people the tools for language technology. One of the pictures we like to use here at ILAD is we're trying to do more than just give people a fish for a day or even teach people to fish. We want to help them start a fishing business that can impact their personal lives, their families, their entire communities, not just today, but for generations to come.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've highlighted a handful of different projects here, but I wish we could highlight all of the different projects. We should tell you all the details, like projects like our Language Technology Center in Southeast Asia, or really any of our human language technology projects around the globe. Their aim is to take any and all digital information and make it available to minority language speakers. So think about that, at the touch of your finger. Even though prior to this it hasn't been possible, prior to this you wouldn't be able to access this information, but at the end of these projects, once these projects are finished, they will at the touch of their finger be able to access things like healthcare manuals, textbooks, religious texts, like any type of digital information readily available to them. I would love to tell you even more about that. I get excited about it, obviously. I would love to talk about the demonstration farming in West Africa, teaching people about cashew farming. I'd love to tell you about our literacy classes going on all over the world, or our library initiatives in rural Africa, the women's health and infant care classes in the Middle East. I wish I could tell you about all of these projects, but unfortunately we just don't have the time. But what we do have is $6,000 in in grants from our board of directors. And that could go to any one of these projects.
Yeah, that's exciting. So, Michelle, it's time for a tribal council.
Didn't go well for me last time.
This one's a little bit different. Instead of voting somebody off of the island, we're going to have our tribal council and draw for 6 $1,000 grants to the various projects. So you have your special, I see you have your survivor basket to draw
I have my voting urn here.
Yep. And what we need you to do is when Michelle, if she pulls your name out, call or text in within the next few minutes to let us know that you are virtually present. And then you can let us know what project you would like that grant to go to. If you're not sure, still call and let us know, and just tell us that you want to learn a little bit more about the projects so that you can decide. Either way is great. Just be sure to be virtually present and call in and let us know.
All right, so it's time for me to draw 6 names. We've got a lot of pre-registrations in here. Okay, number 1, Jeremy and Leanne Brady. Jeremy and Leanne Brady.
No relation to me, of course. Right.
All right. Judy Rodriguez in Grand Prairie.
Awesome.
Jill D. and Morris R. Bryant.
All right. Jill and Mo.
Miguel Carlin.
All right.
Miguel Carlin.
Be sure and call in or text in, either way.
John Motes.
All right. John, be sure to let us know that you're here.
So I think that's 5 so far. So we have one more.
One more.
How about Michael D. and Jacqueline Tyre?
All right, the Tyres.
Jacqueline. All right, so again, you have to call or text and let us know that you're here and which project you would like that $1,000 grant to go to.
Awesome. The tribe has spoken, Michelle. All right. It's so exciting that we have gone over that goal. But Michelle, that doesn't mean that, there's no more need, right?
Right. I mean, it's not like we're going to stop working just because we have the goal. The more money we raise, the more people's lives are impacted.
Absolutely.
So, we can, as Chris said in that video, you can only benefit, as far as your funding allows. So please, just because we met the goal, don't let that stop you from giving. If you were hoping to give, we still cherish your gift, cherish your generosity, and invite you to give.
Yes, and we haven't been able, of course, to always know who first-time donors to the general fund are. So it's very possible that some of that matching gift is still left to be met as well. And so we'll know that in a little bit. Yeah. So Michelle, right now, let me give you our total for the evening. $153,485. How exciting is that?
That's very exciting.
That is so great. Now, Yeah, we are so excited. So listen, Michelle, I want to thank you so much for hosting this event for us. It's been fun working with you to encourage people to close the gap.
Yeah, likewise. And like Scott said, this giving link will stay open. So this form that's beneath the video, you'll be able to continue to give in this location if you choose. The phone lines are going to stay open. Maybe you've had trouble getting through. Maybe you needed time to talk to your spouse.
Maybe they need more time to write zeros on their check. More zeros, huh?
Hopefully that's the case. Whatever the case is, please do give if you've intended to. And all right, with that, it has been an incredible time together. Thank you, Scott, for co-hosting. So many of you have made this night possible. Thank you to those who made the decision to give and to transform lives and communities through that gift. Thank you to the media team and my finance coworkers who have given so much time and effort and worked through all of the last minute changes that needed to be made for this event. Thank you to our overseas coworkers. You guys are working constantly and tirelessly to see transformation of body, mind, and spirit. So thank you. We are grateful for all of you guys. And with that, stay safe, stay healthy, and have a happy Thanksgiving.
Bye-bye.